Hello. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
I'm Maura, and this is Jeanette, and we are here to talk to you today a little bit about creating your foundation wardrobe and understanding how it should change. Your shade should change in the winter from the summer. Some people's a lot, like mine, which we'll talk about, and some people's just that little bit, but it's so important. So we're going to teach you a little bit about that. And then a resolution of cleaning your brushes. And I was just saying to Jeanette and kind of laughing, before I was in Mary Kay, like, over 12 years ago, you're supposed to clean your brushes. You're just putting them back in makeup and getting them dirty. Why do you need to clean them? So that is where we're going to start, is just talking about cleaning our brushes and how important it is. We spend so much money and time and effort on taking care of our skin. And then if you're just putting a dirty brush on your skin, even those clients of mine who have great skin, no problems, all of a sudden they might have a breakout. The first question I ask is, when was the last time you cleaned your brushes?
Yeah.
Even just a couple days later, they're good. We need the reminder, right? We definitely read the reminder.
Yeah.
Especially if you're acne prone. Oh my goodness. You definitely want to be cleaning your brushes, because you're continually putting not only bacteria, but your brushes can collect the oil from your skin, and you're putting that back on. Your brushes will last longer. And with the eye color brushes as well, they get oily too. And that can kind of mess up with your blending. And then you think your makeup is bad, but your makeup's not bad. It's just a really simple solution. And now that we're all very aware of germs and bacteria and things, Jeanette is also an ER nurse. So I just wanted her to just share a little bit about bacteria and germs. And this is such a preventable thing, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And thank you for having me on today. I'm really excited to be here. And definitely there's a lot of things that can grow, especially when we're using like our liquid foundations or our liquid, like anything. That's where our bacteria grows. And just think about like a sponge. And if you have it sitting in your water after you've like just washed all your dirty dishes and you haven't rinsed off your sponge, and it's just sitting there, and then it gets that like rancid smell, that's the same kinds of things that can grow in your brushes as well. And I have a really good brush that is just so nasty right now. I have brushes on rotation, and I'm sure Maura does this too, because we don't have time to wash our brushes all the time. It's just like nasty brushes, a collection. And I have one good brush ready for today. But because if I'm like too busy and I don't get around to cleaning my brushes like once a week, this is probably like 3 weeks of nasty brushes. So gross. But because I
imagine if you just had like one pair of underwear, it would be very time consuming to wash it every single day. Or if you had just a couple and you had to do laundry like every 3 days or whatever, it's just easier to kind of have a couple. So even if you have one brush, honestly, just for pure convenience factor, and they'll last longer, get like another one or two if you're an everyday foundation wearer.
Exactly. Well, and because I haven't been washing my brushes, as you can see, I feel like acne starting to grow in my chin. And I was like, I need to clean my brushes. That is like number one. Yes. And I was like, I'm so glad we're doing this today, because you know what? I need to clean my brushes. Thank you for this. So one thing that I would do to clean my brushes, if I need to do a deep clean, I would take like my Dove dish soap and just give it I just need a little bit. And then I have like one of these things that I got at the dollar store. Yeah. It's so cheap.
I know, I wish we sold them because they're incredible.
Yeah. And you just like put your soap in it, give it a little water, and like just do a little brush like this. If you don't have one of these things, you can just use your hand. It takes a little bit longer, but
and your fingers in those foundation brushes, not just your hand. But guess what, Jeanette?
What?
Someone's gonna win one today.
What? You guys are so lucky.
Yes. And so I want you to comment. I want you to ask questions. I want you to tell me what foundation you're currently using. Every comment gets you entered into our giveaway. And whether you're on live right now or you have 48 hours from right now to still get entered into the giveaway, because we understand, this is the best thing about virtual. You might not be free right at that time, but hey, you can participate for 48 more hours.
Yeah, and get one of those cool like brush cleaner things.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then once you're done cleaning your brushes, make sure you've rinsed it off really well. Don't use like hot water because it can ruin there's like glue inside that keeps the brushes in. So if you use too hot water, it will like make the glue come out, and I've ruined
Good reminder.
before. Yeah,
Good
and then
reminder.
it just like it ruins your brush. Anyways, don't do that.
And
Don't
don't sit your brushes upside down. That reminds me, in a thing of wet, warm water, because same thing with the glue. It's just going to sit and it's going to break it apart. And then, of course, your brush is going to fall apart. So
yeah.
Thank you, Jeanette, for that reminder.
Welcome. And it's sad. And don't put them in the dishwasher either. Try that.
There is no dishwasher symbol on here.
I'm trying to cheat. No time. Your toothbrush, your makeup brush in the dishwasher. And then when you're drying it though, make sure you're drying it upside down for the same reason of the glue. Like if you're drying it like this way, then the water and everything doesn't dry properly. So you want to make sure that you're putting it on a rack or something. I don't know.
Well, if you don't have an amazing drying rack like Jeanette, you can simply take a hair elastic, wrap it around your towel hanger rack, your towel rod. What is that called? And then it just sits with the elastic wrapped around it and around the brush, and it will just hang to dry. So all the water comes this way and doesn't slowly sit in.
Yes.
Another great reminder. I didn't have that on my list. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's for brushes, for cleaning them.
Awesome.
And I have an awesome brush cleaner too that I use for afterwards. I don't have one in I couldn't find it. I'm moving. Oh, there you go, Maura. So after I've done washing them and they've dried, then I give that a little spritz too, just to make sure it gets like that extra clean, because it has some alcohol in it as well, and it's safe for brushes. And then in between cleaning as well, if you don't have a lot of time to do like a deep clean, then use that brush cleaner, and it's just awesome, and it's just so much
amazing easier. And it's so affordable. You guys, before Mary Kay had our own brush cleaner, which is just $12, before we had our own, I had to we all had to buy something else, and they were double and triple the price of our brush cleaner. And these are also really great if, say you did like a smoky eye last night and today you're just putting on your more natural colors and you're like, ooh, you can quickly clean it with the brush cleaner. I like to spray like a little remover pad or a towel and kind of go back and forth and in a circle. You can use it right away. They're not going to be sopping wet kind of thing so that you can't use them right away. So this is kind of great for offhand or everyday, until you can do a deep clean or until it's time to do a deep clean. Someone also suggested you can spray this on your hairbrush just to kind of clean away any kind of extra germs, and it dries right away.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I use that on my
hairbrush. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. What else was I going to share with you? I think oh yes, this is another suggestion too. We have this amazing cleansing bar as well. I like to use, you'll see that it's kind of shaped. I like to flip it over and use the curved side of it to clean my brushes in that too. So that's another option, but to do a really deep clean, Dawn soap is definitely the way to go. You want to make sure you're doing both. But this soap bar that we have that has cleanser, exfoliant, and toner in it is always so forgotten about, and it's so multi-purpose. And for those that are used to just using soap in the shower or just want something in the shower, or this is fantastic. It's also really great for all over the body. Multi-purpose. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so now we're also going to talk a little bit about foundation and moving into the winter and what does that kind of look like. So first thing I want to point out is that Jeanette has a different skin tone than I have. And she reminded me, and it kind of made me laugh, and I had to go grab it, that in the summer, my skin changes so much wearing SPF minimum 30, usually 50 every single day, but out at the park with the kids and the beach and whatever, I go a darker shade in the summer than Jeanette. I was using beige N210, and it was correct. Right? Like you saw me, Jeanette. It was not like I was trying to make myself darker. So I have very olive skin. So even though I look very, very ivory right now, I still have that really that undertone, and that's really important when we're talking about foundation. So what color do you wear in the summer, Jeanette?
In the summer, I wear beige W200. Is that the thing? Let me double check.
Yep, that sounds right. Yeah. And so that's a warm undertone. So there's different undertones that you really want to know, because you could have the right shade, but it might be the wrong undertone, and you could end up looking a little kind of chalky or ashy or yellow. You know, you don't want to look jaundice, or, you know, back in the day, people look orange. And it's not that the foundation is bad. It just might not be the right color. It might not be the right undertone. And so a really kind of simple, easy way to kind of figure that out, and trying to figure out what your undertone is just ask yourself, you know, do I burn in the sun? I mean, eventually everybody will burn in the sun, but if you're out there for a pretty short time, is your first thing for your skin to kind of burn? If it's going to burn, then you're most likely a cool undertone, more of a pink kind of undertone. If you kind of stay the same all year too, you're probably likely cool as well. If you sometimes kind of burn, but then it kind of turns into a tan after and kind of deepens, you're going to be neutral. So that can be me. Eventually I can burn eventually, or sometimes I can have a little bit of pink pop up. So I'm more of a neutral undertone. But then if you're looking at Jeanette and you rarely burn, you're mostly warm. And that's the very, very, very olive undertone. But those are the questions that you kind of want to ask yourself when you're just starting out and trying to figure out, like, what am I? What kind of how do you figure out the undertone? I'm going to post the link to a foundation quiz that we have. It's not only going to help you figure out the area of color that you are, but it's also going to help you figure out what kind of foundation. You know, we have different kinds of foundations for different things. It's kind of like you have different shoes for different occasions. And same with foundation. You want to have a wardrobe of choices. What's your favorite foundation, Jeanette?
My favorite is the CC cream.
Oh yeah. What do you love about it? Tell me.
Oh, it's just so easy, and it has like SPF in it. And if I just need to really get out the door, then that's the easiest. And like, my skin is normally like pretty good, so I don't need a lot of coverage, and that's like, it's the best for that.
Absolutely. That's what I started with too. I never wore foundation before I was in Mary Kay, probably because I thought back to high school and I thought about those with one color head and a different color body. And I just didn't know enough about foundation, and I didn't want to look like that. So I just never wore it. I also thought that people that maybe had more acne prone skin, or they had things they wanted to cover up, that's who wore foundation. So I never, did you wear foundation, Jeanette?
Not really, no.
And I also learned in Mary Kay, this is your protection. So, you know, you want to cleanse, exfoliate, tone, moisturize, and protect. And so the fifth step is protect, and it acts kind of like a veil over the skin and absorbs, you know, pollution and things that are out there instead of your skin. And I tested that out. Some of you might have heard the story when we lived in Kelowna and there were forest fires and you could literally see ash falling on your patio. I wore it and washed it off at the end of the day when we had those 3-in-1 cleansing cloths. And you could literally see that it was kind of like gray, which is so gross, but at least I had that layer of protection that that wasn't going right into my skin. That is part of the 20% that ages your skin. Only 20% happens naturally. And so things like that are going to speed up the process of aging your skin. So if we can help that, I'm all about it.
Yes.
All about it. And don't you find that this CC cream, just to be able to throw it on as your moisturizer, as your SPF, as your little bit of protection, like, you know, being a mama, I just feel like I look a little less dead when I put it on.
Absolutely. I'm like, I feel dead inside right now.
Let's wake up a little bit. Last night this is a good day to show you guys. I mean, what I love about our skin in Mary Kay is neither of us have foundation on right now, and we still look great, right? So I love that we're not necessarily covering it up. We're just creating that protection and that great blank canvas. and just kind of wakes up the skin a little bit. Jeanette's going to show you putting on half of her face, the CC cream, just to show you kind of the difference of what it looks like. And then I'm going to show you with our liquid foundation. And while she's doing it, I'm just going to tell you about a couple of the different kinds of foundation that we have. We have 90 different shades. Can you believe it? And we have 6 formulas. So again, that quiz will really help you figure out what kind of foundation do you want? How much coverage do you want? Do you want SPF protection in it? Do you want more coverage in it? And the tools that you use are also going to make a really big difference. It's like a carpenter or a chef. It makes their job so much easier when they have really great tools. So what brush are you using?
I'm using the blending brush.
Okay, yeah.
It's great.
And that's going to give you the most coverage in any foundation that you use, because the bristles are really short and really dense. And so it's going to give you the most coverage, whether you're using a CC cream, a liquid foundation. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to put on my foundation primer onto my one side of my face.
I put primer on.
That's okay. It's all good. I need to remind you. Primer is going to help you with your texture. It kind of gives you like a high def finish. It's going to help with redness. It's going to help with those with larger pores, minimize the look of the pores. Anybody that has acne scarring, it's going to help smooth all that out so that when you put your foundation on, it's just going to look that much better. I'm going to post a picture of an orange to kind of show you what the pores look like with and without primer with foundation. Okay. Can you come a little closer? Let's see you, Jeanette, that one side versus the other. Yeah, you just look super, super smooth and just,
Weird.
yeah, like just like kind of like brighter, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know, you know what I mean.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so now with our liquid foundation, you would always want to choose 3 colors, and 3 because you might put one test stripe on and be like, oh, that's good. But then you put the next one on and you're like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. So you might go from good to great without even knowing it. So I'm going to just show you 3 stripes with 3 different undertones so that you can see what I mean. I'm going to show you one with a cool undertone. I'm just using our cream brush just to put that on. This is beige C110. You would kind of want to normally just go over the jaw. I'm just going to go on my cheek. Now, C110 isn't actually bad. I will show you as I'll come closer once I've got them on. Are you able to see that, Jeanette?
A little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point. You can see it a little bit, so it's not the right shade. Thank you for proving my point. Now, the next one, this is kind of interesting. My chest is a little bit darker than kind of my neck and my face because I put I've had a lot more protection on my face. So if I did it just on my neck, this is N160. This is actually my correct color. See how you can see that line? Can you see it? Can you see that, Jeanette?
It's hard to see.
Hard to see. Well, I'll take a picture maybe after. Okay. Now, when I did this on just here or just on my arm, N140 was actually my correct color, ivory N140, but on my face is actually N160. And sometimes you don't really know until you do your face. And then you might be like, I think it's a little light because maybe, that's why our face is not the same color as our arm. So we really don't want to test it on your arm or your hand like they do when you often go into a store or whatnot, because it's not the same color. It might not have had the same protection on it. Okay, so this is W150. Can you see right away?
Yeah, right away.
You can see it.
Yeah.
The whole point about foundation, you should not be able to see it. If you can see it, it's not the right tone. Okay, so that's W, warm undertone like Jeanette. So I'm going to go back and put the N160 on. I'm going to use, I like to put a little bit on my hand and then take my brush and put it on so that you can start with a nice thin layer. I'm going to use our liquid foundation brush. I love this brush. It's a little bit looser bristles, a little bit softer and longer. So it's going to give you not as much of a full coverage as the blending brush would. So this will be great today because I was up many times last night. So you will be able to see the coverage and just how much more alive, I like to call it, I feel and I look. And I mean, I'm not going anywhere these days, but it just makes, so I don't have to wear foundation, but it makes me feel so much better, even though I'm not going anywhere, because, you know, you walk by the mirror in your house and you're just like, oh, you know, it affects how I feel. So I do it because I just don't want to feel like that. It makes me feel a little bit more alive.
Yeah,
okay.
You can see it.
Well, I've also got a little bit more redness in my cheeks than this side. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of a picture to show everybody. But the nice thing about that too, is if I wanted more coverage, I could add more and then just gently blend it on. Now, your fingers are another tool, but especially if you're more oily to combination, your fingers have natural oils on them. I'm going to turn down my light. I feel like it's a little bit making me a little bit too white. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Can you even just see like under my eyes already how much that looks better than it did before? Okay, so that comes in a luminous formula, which I like. It's a little bit more dewy, kind of gives you that kind of natural glow. I'm more normal to kind of dry skin, especially in the winter. Or they do have a matte formula. So it can really help matte out the skin. It has oil absorbing properties. I actually used that in the summer, the matte formula, because I had, you know, sunscreen and all these things so often, the heat. Oh, so, you know, it was just much better to wear something that was helping me with that versus kind of adding to it. And our foundations are a silicone base, which is really important. It's oil free, transfer resistant, and silicone helps it adhere and really stay in place and help making it transfer resistant. You know, ask a friend, say, Jeanette, how's my foundation? Just ask a girl, help a girlfriend out. She might not know. You're looking at her all the time. So instead of being like, oh, she's really got to get that foundation figured out, you know, ask your friend so she has permission to tell you, yeah, you know, it doesn't quite look right. Like if you look in the mirror and you're like, even if you're not sure what's not right, it's not right. So help a girlfriend out. Let's help each other out. Help a sister out, right? Okay, the other thing I wanted to quickly show you today was our concealer and our under eye corrector. If you're really, 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 really light skinned or really, 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 really dark skinned, this you're either going to have to mix with concealer or maybe just use concealer on its own, because the under eye corrector has a little bit more of a peachy tone to it, and it's amazing, and it helps block out purples and blacks and blues. You need a very small amount of it. Okay, and then I'm going to take my beauty blending sponge, which is another thing you could use to apply your foundation if you just wanted a really, really light. Now you wet our beauty blending sponge so that it doesn't absorb the product. You use less product. It gives you a more natural finish. You can get into the corner of the eye because we have shadows in there too sometimes. Okay. Now you can also mix it with the concealer if you want to have more coverage. The concealer is also crease proof. It's waterproof. Our foundation and concealer are on Oprah's favorite things list. So if you know Oprah loves it, you know it's got to be good. Right, Jeanette? I mean, like if she loves it, there's no question. No question at all. And again, it's super affordable. Our concealer and our under eye corrector are $17.50. And even if you are like a heavy user, like you use it every single day and maybe you touch up or whatever, it's still going to last you like at least 4 months, at least. So, I mean, probably more like 6 for most people, but that's amazing, amazing, amazing. And last but not least, our Silky setting powder that is brand new. These have an emollient in it, and so it doesn't go chalky, it doesn't settle. It gives you a huge difference. It's like a selfie filter, honestly, when you're putting that on, and it's so finely milled. It's beautiful. And especially, if you're wearing a mask, like we all are, to be able to just kind of touch up is also absolutely amazing. It's so like gross under there that you want to be able to do what you can do for yourself. Okay, so can you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a picture. It's hard to tell like this, I know. Pictures will be a little bit easier. Okay, the last thing that I can't forget about, because we have this amazing, amazing, amazing brand new Mary Kay starter kit that's only $28. Like, come on. I joke about that, I spend more than that just looking at Costco without even going in. It's like gone. And we have a promotion right now that anybody that decides to start, we haven't had a promotion in 2 years. They get $42 worth of product for free just for starting, and you could be starting to be a private agent, as I call them, that you just, you only want to get it for yourself. Nobody even needs to know, get the discount. You might just want to do a little side hustle. Or this could be, you might be looking for a new career change with the world, the way that it is. I know a lot of people are really, looking for something else that they can do right now, or maybe you just got laid off, or maybe you had an extra job but they've cut down and now you just don't know what to do, or maybe you want to be able to work from home. There's just so many things about what we do right now that really fill what a lot of people are looking for. So do you know that 2 million women left the workforce in the US in August alone? That's crazy. Super, super, super crazy. And Jeanette, like, why did you start your business?
I started it for the tax write-offs.
Absolutely. Well, a nurse working, making lots of good money, Yeah. So I would love to know how Mary Kay has served you during this pandemic. Put it in the comments. If you're a client, did we entertain you? Did we give you some new tips? Did we bring a little bit of joy to you through your screen? If you're a beauty advisor, I'd love to know, how did Mary Kay serve you during this pandemic, whether it be the extra income coming in, being able to still work from home, like whatever it might be, to get some more entries into our giveaway tonight. But that's your little bit about your foundation wardrobe. That's a little bit about some brushes. I'm going to share a little video as well, just kind of showing how to deep clean those brushes, either on here or just using your hands, so that you really know how to get in there. And then I'll just quickly show you, if you're like, elastic on the towel rod, like, what do you mean? I'll be able to just show you. I know you're just itching to do the other side.
I gotta finish.
The other thing about foundation, like when I look at it, I feel like this side's like droopier. It's not, obviously, but I feel like it almost, maybe it's just because it is smoother. I don't know what it is. I just always feel like, okay, I'm ready to do that side. Okay, so if you have any questions, let us know. If you want to have a sample sent out to you, or a couple different shades, you can hop on and do the quiz, and we can kind of figure out where you're at, chat with your beauty advisor, and we'll get you some samples out to try a couple different things. Or maybe you use the CC cream and you want to try the liquid, or maybe you use the liquid and you want to try the CC cream, whatever it is. We also have a great conversion chart for our consultants that can tell us, like, if you already use one, what the equivalent color would be in a different kind. That's it. That's all we got for you. Thank you, Jeanette, for joining me today. So
Thank
great
you.
to see
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for
Let's
your
do it again.
expertise. Yeah, let's do